Hello everyone, welcome to my channel ASP.NET Core, and today I'm going to show you how to view a single page for your Angular application. In the last video you have seen already about student UI component there is, and where we have a model binding, that is the ng model, and with the mat input fields. So here we have a code related to the student, and you can see again I am going to discuss about the single student, where you can update image and delete the students. Okay, so here we have a router link, that is the students, where a student go back. Okay, so there is the go back button, and with the server left icon will display, and here we have a header class where we display create a new student as well as update a student. So header label is defined. So header label is actually existing in the your TypeScript file. There is header label, and that time is empty in the class section, but update it when any information getting from the UI. Okay, so the next thing is the row, and a row contain a form element. There is the form element. Okay, and in the form element we have a mat input and mat form fields. You know more about the mat form fields, etc. So here we have a input type equals to text. Mat input and ng model is bind with the student data, and actually student data is an array in the TypeScript file, and here we have a student data is the type of array, you can see. And in the array we have ID, name, birth date, email, contact, profile image, gender ID, address, and the gender. Okay, so everybody you know about the student data. So the bind is student data and the name. So here we have student data and the name field is bind with the name. Similarly, the next properties bind with the respective input controls, like the mat input, mat date picker control, picker student data dot birth date, like that, name, birth date, and mat suffix. Okay, and the next thing is the email. So mat input and ng model is student data dot email, and the next thing is contact. So ng model dot student data dot contact, name, contact, and the next one is the drop down list. So here we have a student data dot gender ID, that is the ng model, and actually ng model is bind with that student that is the gender ID. Okay, and inside the mat options we have a ng for loop, that is the directive. Let gender of gender list value is gender.id. Okay, so here we have a gender.id, and gender.title will display in the drop down list. And the next thing is physical address, that is the text area, and bind with the student data dot address dot physical address. Here we have address and physical address. Okay, so the name is physical address. Similarly, we have a postal address. So student data dot address dot postal address, name is postal address. Okay, and the next one is a button control, that is the primary button control. And if we have a condition that is new, it means you want to create a new student. Okay, so add student function is raised. Otherwise, if it is not a new student, that is the flag value. If it is not a new student, then we'll go for the update student as well as the delete student. Okay, so here is the code, and just adding three functions in the TypeScript file just after that. So here is the code where I want to add that, like, so here we have a code for the adding student. Update student is there, and update, that is the update student code, and that is the delete student code. One by one I will discuss on that topic, and the next one is the add student. So first of all, I want to discuss about the add student code. Okay, so here we have, that is the first part is the student service, and you can define the student service in the constructor, you know that. So here we have a constructor, there is student service. Just I want to define it here, and you know that where we have a student service, so like that student, and the student service is there. So here we have only the base URI and get all the students. So create, first of all, create a new student service at here. Okay, and after that get the student service. Okay, so the next thing is to add a new student. So here is my code for the add student service, that is the add student method in the service class. And here we have a student view model, and you know that the student view model, so here we have a student view model. Okay, so that is the variable name student view model and the type of the student. Okay, so in the infrastructure you can see that class name is student. So here we have, so in the student observable type is the student, and here we have a constant view model, that is the student view model, and I will create it just now. And in the student view model, just pass it that is the name, and that is the type of student view model dot name. Okay, so birth date is colon student view model dot birth date. Okay, email student view model dot email. So everything is passed from the student view model. Okay, so VM is the type of student view model. Okay, in the VM here we have a view model and the type is student view model. Okay, and there is the type of student, so you can say that that is the model. So just not confuse it, that is the model, and the VM is a student view model. So here we have, you can say that model dot name, model dot birth date, model dot email, model dot contact, model dot gender ID, model dot address dot physical address, and model dot postal address. So here is the model, that is the student. You can see in the infrastructure part, there is the model. So there is, okay, gender ID, address and gender. Address is the type of address and gender is the type of gender. So here we have a gender and address, also we have a interface. Okay, and student is also a interface. So in the student view model, we have a student view model. Just create it first of all, and after that these fields are initialized in it, like that name, birth date, email, contact, gender ID, physical address and postal address. Okay, so after that that call is subscriber, that is the this dot http client dot post. Just I want to post in the new student as a student, and this dot base URI, API students, add student and the VM. So just check it, there is the name, and here we have a route is action, so the name is add student. Okay, so API, the route name is API and the controller name is students, so everything is fine. API students and add student and the VM is passed here. So just create it first of all, student view model. New file, and here we have a student view model, student view. Okay, dot TypeScript file, and just added this features. So here is my code. export interface student view model, and the name is string, birth date string, email, contact, gender ID, physical address is type of string, and the postal address is also a string. So just save it and cancel it. And also resolved this student view model. So just use control dot and add imports like that and resolve the issue. Okay, so add student function is clear. Now just come to the section that is student UI, and where we have a add student features. So first of all, call the student service and just call the add student method. And in the add student method we have a this dot student data. Just pass the student data. Why? Because in the student service you can see that here we have a model in the parameter. So just pass that the data from here, the add student, this dot student data, and the student data is there the type of array, and that array is bind with the model. So just pass the model fields value in the service. So first of all, resolve this issue, student service. So first of all, pass this student service in the constructor. So just hit here, and you can see that private student service and the type of student service, and you can see in the student service is there service, and the type of script file is student service, and the name of the file is student service. Okay, save this and just resolve this issue. Control dot add imports and resolve it. Okay, so in the constructor you have to initialize your student service, and you can see that your student service in the add student method, add student, this student data is clear. And here we have a return type is observable in the student service. So just use subscribe method. In the subscribe method, that is the success response, and in the success response we have a snack bar, and the snack bar is actually a fields of the mat fields, and like that. So just add the stud snack bar. Okay, in the module.ts file, app module.ts file. So here we have a snack bar module, you can see, and in the mat snack bar module everything is fine. So just use control dot. Okay, so one more thing is remaining. So snack bar is not defined a property, so just define the property in the constructor also. So here we have a constructor, so just use snack bar as well as the router. So snack bar module is in the app module.ts file is there. So use just control dot and add import angular material dot snack bar and add import snack bar like that. Okay, so in the router we have a router is also there. So just use control dot add import angular router. So everything is fine, and you can see that where we have a student and snack bar module is clear, student add, undefined, and durations. So this is the open method parameters like that: message, type of the string, action, string, undefined, configuration file, and that is the configuration is the like that, duration is 3000. After the 3 seconds that snack bar will appear, and the set timeout features is there. So after the 2 milliseconds and 3 milliseconds, your navigate to the student list. So here we have a students. Okay, so just check routing, app routing modules. So here we have a students, so list of the students will appear. Okay, so here is the code, and if it is error in the just after the subscribe method, that is the success response and the error response, console.log error response. Okay, so here we have a code for the add students. Now go for the update student as well as the delete student in the later videos. Thank you very much for watching.